do do doobie doo wah ba ba ba.
Hey guys, it's me, Emily, back again with my composition notebook, journal, junk journal thing. It's already getting so fat. I've been having so much fun in this thing. I just wanted to give you guys an update and share what I've been doing in here, and then also go through and put some ribbons in here to reinforce the binding, just to show you how that's done. Now, I've never done it before. I'm just doing this based off of Tangie Baxter's how-to video, which I will link for you guys. So I'm just gonna do what she did, but I'm not really sure if I have the right type of ribbon or what, but I won't know till I try, so I'm gonna try. But first, I want to flip through this and show you some things that I've added. So I've added washi tape borders, magazine and book pages, images from magazines, lots more watercolor, glimmer mist, and inking, you know, with the ink pad. I've added some juicy edges, which I told you guys about in the first video, that I think Jenny Bell does. And I've added one journaling section, which I haven't written in yet, but I'm excited to have something to write about. And I still want to add photos to this. So I'm just going to open up and go through. So I put a paper clip here to just keep things that I want to paste in here later. I'm really not, I know I want to do a few different Halloween spreads. So on one of them I want to put some of these cool candy wrappers that I got from this Halloween. One of our little neighbors, like our neighbor's kid, she's probably like 3 or 4. She was so sweet, she shared some of her Halloween candy with us. So I wanted to put that in to remember. So I went around, I put washi tape around the edges here. I actually had to paste it down up here. Washi tape doesn't stick that well, so I used some tacky glue to keep it down. I really liked the images of these pumpkins from Family Circle magazine, and it had like a shimmery color on the title there, and I really like the word magic. So I'll probably collage a little bit over this to cover up some of these words that I don't really want to see, and maybe I can journal here. And here's a page from a book I got from the thrift store. We have a Goodwill outlet center by us. I think that's what it's called, Goodwill Outlet, where you can buy things that don't sell at the other Goodwills for super cheap. So I got a plant book from there. So I cut out a page and put it in here. And then I also got an atlas from that same Goodwill. So I cut up my atlas and put a few pages in here. This is a watercolor page. I think this might be a new one. So I crumpled up the paper and then I watercolored on it. I used watercolor crayons on this. I told you about it in one of my other videos. I bought these crayons for my daughter, and then I promptly took them back because I wanted to use them. She still uses them, but I'm more careful with her using these than her other art supplies, and I keep them in my craft room. But these are what they look like. They're really cute. I love the little hedgehog on there. See the little hedgehog? And they have a cap. and it's really smooth. I love writing with these because it's so smooth to write with. Ow. So anyway, I just drew with those on this page and then washed it with some water and a paintbrush. This I used my Prang brand watercolors. I just did some squares. Oh wait, no, I used the crayons on this one. Yeah. Here's some inked up pages. So I haven't finished this one yet, but I did some watercolor on the back of this inked up page. And then I had this packaging from instant noodle bag that I got, and I just really liked how it looked, and I loved the sound that it makes. So eventually I'm going to tape this in here and have it flip out so I can journal on the back, or maybe I'll collage on the back, I'm not sure. And then these are the packets that came in it, the sauce mix, and I saved this little guy, the pictures, the instructions on how to make the soup. I don't know why, but these things just bring me joy. And this was labeled flakes. I thought that was hilarious, and I love this color green. This is one of my favorite colors. So these are going to be pockets. I just tacky glued them in here. I'm really excited to, oh, it's still wet. Oops. Really excited to see what I can put in here. And then I also watercolored over these maps a little bit. Here are the juicy edges I was telling you about. You can see how it just makes the pages look a little more interesting from the outside. I would not recommend using cardstock. This paper right here was cardstock, and it's really pulled up. I'm sorry, it's hard to see. It's really pulled up on the edge, and I just didn't like how it turned out. I mean, it's really crumply, and I love how it's so fun to turn this page now because this is so stiff compared to the rest of the paper. So I just cut up some strips from the paper I'd already used in this book and glued it on there. I had so much fun doing watercolor. So this is from my Prang, I used my Prang watercolor set here. This one. Some more watercolor. I went back over this scrapbook paper. I inked it up a little bit. I really like how it turned out. Here are some strips of paper that I had out to use in this book. I really like how this turned out. I just love the texture. It's kind of crinkly on the back side. I want to do more pages like this. It was fun to just glue it down. I made my own Mod Podge. I mean, I have Mod Podge here, but I just wanted to try it out. I did about 3 parts of this glue all to 1 part water, and I just used a paintbrush to apply it. I think it came out a little stiffer than it would if I had used Mod Podge. I put some washi tape around here, added a map from the atlas. Here's the first journaling page that I made. So we dedicated our daughter at our church in October. She was over 1 year old when we dedicated her, because I didn't really want to dedicate her at first. I'm not really into traditional stuff, I guess, but the church has just been such a great community for me and my family as we've raised her, that I wanted to kind of publicly tell everyone at the church that what our intentions were raising our daughter. So I put this in here. It has the pictures of the babies and their parents inside, and then here's a space that I'm going to use to journal about it. This was the sermon series my church was doing at the time, so I put this in here to remember about that. And this was one of the invitations they gave me to send out, which I didn't send any out, so I'm going to use this for a little journaling spot. And this is the tag from one of my daughter's toys. I'm going to cover up the back and use that for journaling. And this was also in the bulletin that same week. And I took the Nest Connection. I took this class when I first had Ember. She was about 3 months old. And it just really plugged me in with a community of moms at the church, which started me on the journey that helped me feel closer to a lot of the women in the church. So it's kind of related to me dedicating her, so I wanted to put that in there to remember it. And I just love the graphics. Watercolor and glimmer mist. I love that glimmer mist. I'm afraid to waste it, but it's so fun to use. This is some artwork my daughter and her friend did. He's about 2 years old, and she's like 1.5, almost 1.5. So they just colored on here with the watercolor crayons I showed you, and they put a bunch of stickers on. And I thought it was really fun and Halloween-y, and I want to keep it, but I don't want to necessarily display it all year round, so I'm going to paste it in here. This is another magazine page. I really loved how this picture looks, the colors and the shapes of these branches. I really like that photo. And more scrapbook paper, glimmer mist, and watercolor. Magazine page. That's an M&M's ad. A little while back, my husband and I and our daughter, we all went to the Raleigh-Durham area, and we visited the Arboretum there. So I'd saved this brochure of the Arboretum, so I'm going to paste it in here. And I'm so excited to have this book because I have little trinkets like this laying around everywhere to keep for memories, but I never knew where to put them, but now I can keep them all in one spot. Some circles with watercolor, another map, page from that plant book, and that's it. Okay, well that took me a lot longer than I thought it was going to. 15 minutes. Okay, well, so now we are going to add some ribbon into here to reinforce the spine, because this is already getting big. I'm already getting a little bit afraid it's going to pop out. And even with the ribbon in there, I I don't see how it can stay intact, but I'm gonna trust the process and go with it. So Tangie says you're supposed to use some really thin ribbon. I don't have a lot of ribbon. I have more yarn than I do ribbon. So I picked these up in the dollar spot at Michael's. I got this from Tuesday Morning. I think it's beautiful. And while it's technically yarn, it's pretty thin, so I think I'm going to use this. And then I have this eyelash trim, which is more like string, but I just thought I thought all these would look really good together. So we're going to add these in. First, I'm going to start with the keys. So since I have 4, 2, 3, I'll try to divide this in about fifths maybe. And I definitely want some of this ribbon hanging off the side of the notebook to make it prettier. So I'm gonna cut it a little bit long. And I'm gonna just make these angled. Well, I gave it a good try. I think I'm going to do it off camera and then show you what it looks like after I'm done. I'll be back. I'm back. So I went back and rewatched Tangie's video, which I should have done before I tried this, but she suggests finding the middle of your book and tying your first ribbon in the middle, and then going out from there and tying the rest of the ribbon. She also suggests doing 6 ribbons. So I have 4 in here. I was gonna do the last 2 so you can see how I did them. So here's the middle. I'm gonna do another one of these yarns because I just love it. It's so pretty. I think I eventually want to hang some beads from some of these as well. The eyelash trim came out so pretty. I wish I had that in other colors. I mean, I do have it in other colors, but I don't really want more pink on here. I love the dichotomy of these dark colors mixed with Hello Kitty. Alright, so this bow is kind of getting in my way. I wish I had waited till the end to do that bow. Everything else is just double knotted. The eyelash trim was really hard to double knot because all the eyelashes were getting in the way. And you want to make sure you're as close to the center as possible. Okay. This yarn has a little bit of give to it, unlike the ribbons. So I'm not sure how well it's gonna hold, but I'm pulling it as tight as I can now. I'm not sure if it's gonna stretch out more later. Okay. So I have that pulled tight. There we go. And now for the last one. I have this cute bicycle and unicycle ribbon I got from the dollar spot at Michael's. She says to be random about where you put your ribbons, but it's so hard for me to be random. Oh, and I cut this little detail here on the ends. Make it a little bit more interesting. I mean, there's already a ton to look at on the binding of this book, though. I don't really need anything more interesting. This will teach you patience. I've had to untie a few double knots through this process, so just be prepared. She says, I can't remember if I told you, but she says to scrunch it up as much as you can. Oh, I just love it. I can just sit here and stroke my ribbons. It's so pretty. I really want to put some beads on here, maybe some charms, or like a little bell or something. It would be nice to have some type of auditory sense to go along with this visual notebook. So that's what it looks like on the top. That's what it looks like on the bottom. All right, guys, well, thanks for joining me. And if you have any questions, or if you've done this and you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments. And I'll see you next time.